Namasyata havyadatim suadvaram duvasyata damiyam jata vedasam rathih ritasya brihato vicharshanih agnir devanam abhavat purohitah. Bow down to the giver of the offering, set to his work the perfect in pilgrim rite, the knower of all the births, who dwells in the house, for he is the all-seeing charioteer of the vast truth. The fire has become the priest of the gods set in front. Namasyata. Namasyata literally bow down or surrender with obeisance. Whom to surrender to? Avyadatim, the one who gives the offering. Suadvaram, who has the perfect Suadvaram, pilgrim sacrifice. Pilgrim sacrifice is a constant vision of the Veda, because sacrifice is moving forward, acquiring higher and higher capacity of consciousness. Damiyam, duvasyata, and set in motion, or Sri Aurobindo would say, set to his work. Damiyam, the one who is in the house, Jata Vedasam, who knows all the births. All these accusative cases are the epithets to Agni. Rathi Ritasya, he is the charioteer of Rita, Brihatach, of the vast truths, or maybe of the dynamic truth, Brihatach Vicharshanih, of seeing of the vast, or in the vast, or even all-seeing charioteer of the vast dynamic truth. Agni Devanam, the Agni of the gods, Abhavat, became Purohitach, became the priest who is put in front. It's quite easy text, even for classical Sanskrit. And then, Tisro Yahvasya Samidhach, Parijmanach, Agnech Apunan, Ushijo Amrityavach, Tasam Ekam Adadhuch Martiye Bhujam, Ulokam Udve Upa Jamim Iyatuch. Triple is the fuel of the mighty and pervading fire, purified by the aspiring immortals. Ushijach Amrityavach, aspiring immortals. One of three they have set in the mortal, Tasam Ekam Adadhu have set Martiye in the mortal, Bhujam, a fuel of the enjoyment they set in the mortal. Ulokam Udve Upajami Miyatuh, two have gone to that companion world. Jami is companion, or something relative, related, and to the related world the two others went. So Yahva is the full of energy, or young also. So I'm translating, there are three fuels of the energetic and young Agni surrounding all Parijmanach, that the immortal aspirants have purified Apunan, Ushijo, Amrityavach. Notice, this is the Vedic Sandhi. Ushajach, Ushijach becomes Ushijo before Shot A, and Shot A is not dropping. This is a Vedic typical, so it doesn't have to drop. O appears and A doesn't drop. In classical it must drop. I'm saying this because Selby and Kinshuk are here studying Sanskrit. So tasam, of those three, ekam adaduch martiye bhujam, and of those three fuels, one of them they established in the mortal world, or in the mortal being, and the two others went to the kindred worlds, yeah. That means most probably to the higher worlds, to the heaven and to the space in between and heaven, or to the heaven and beyond. Visham kavim vishpatim manushi hishach samsim akrinvan svadhitim natejase sa udvato nivato yati vevishat sagarbham eshu bhuvaneshu didharam. The seer and lord of creatures, human impulsions have perfected everywhere like an axe for sharpness. This seer and lord of creatures, human impulsions have perfected everywhere like an axe for sharpness. He goes overrunning the high and the low places. He holds the child born in these worlds. I'm translating literally, the poet and lord of all these people. So, Visham Kavim Vishpatim, of the people, Visham Kavim, poet, and Vishpatim, the lord of Vish, of all the people. Manushich Ishach, his mental impulsions, Manushich Ishach, yes, they have perfected some Akranvan here, like an axe for sharpness. Svadhiti is the axe. Na is comparative particle as Iva in classical Sanskrit. Svadhitim na tejase, for sharpness. Tejase is dative case from tejas. Or for shininess. As svadhiti for shininess. If I translate svadhiti not as an axe, then it will be something which is by itself focused. Focused by itself, something. It's like an axe. Axe has its, sharp blade, which is making it totally focused in the cut, so to say. Tejas is the light, brightness. As for the brightness focused by itself, if I translate it psychologically, if you take the words from the dictionary, it will be like the axe for sharpness. Sa udvatach, he, moving up. Nivatach, down. Yati, moving. Vevish ashat, interesting word. It's from V, to move. He moves, interacting with the world up and down. There is also vaya and also the weaving, a very good word. Weaving as if interacting, as if weaving in. Sri Aurobindo says he goes overrunning. He found the way to translate it in English. He moves interacting with the world up and down, kind of like building a tapestry, weaving in. He holds the embryo child in these becomings worlds. Sagarbham esho bhuvanesho, in these becomings, didharan, he holds. Sajinvate jathareshu prajajnivan vrisha chitreshu nanadan na simha. Na nadat most probably. Nana Datna Sindha with Sandhi. Vaishvanarach Prithupaja Amartiyo Vasuratna Dayamano Vidashushe. The male of the herds has been born in different wombs, and he stirs abroad like a roaring lion. The universal Godhead, the immortal, wide in his mighty bestowing, the riches and the ecstasies of the offerer of sacrifice. In his might, bestowing the riches and ecstasies on the offerer of sacrifice. He manifests in different species. So Jathareshu in different wombs, in different bellies, literally. Prajajnivan, he is born. Sajinvate, interesting, again. He manifests in different species. The Lord has been born forward. Prajajnivan has been in various forms of consciousness. Chitreshu. I'm translating Chitra as various forms of consciousness. Chitra is the picture. Interesting, yeah? Or varied light. Many different colors of light in one go. Or picture, or bright in the later language. But it is built from root chi, to focus consciousness. It's actually the light of consciousness, Chitra. That which kind of reveals the consciousness in seeing, in light. So the original, that's why I'm translating it in this way, in the various forms of consciousness and light, or in the various forms of light of consciousness would be the fullest explanation of Chitreshu. Nanadat Nasinha, and he roars, roaring like a lion. So literally, he manifests Sajinvate in different species, Jathareshu, in different bellies, in different wombs, in different creatures. The Lord, Vrisha, Vrisha is literally the bull who conceives the beings. Vrisha has been born forward, Prajajnivan, in various forms of consciousness, Chitreshu, roaring like a lion, Nanadat Nasinha. The universal Godhead, Vaishvanarach, Prithupajah, the immortal Amrityah, with a vast and powerful foundation, Prithupaja. Paja is actually a belly, or the stuff, something very fundamental. In the horse, it is the lower part, Pajas, yes? That which holds the being, the whole intestine, the whole, what do you call it? Digestive system, if you will, with a vast digestive system, the universal Godhead, if you will. You can see Pajas I put here: firmness, vigor, strength, brightness, glitter, sheen. Sheen, that. In dual it is heaven and earth, two foundations, firmament. The immortal, with a vast and powerful foundation. Amrityah Prithupajah, bestowing his luminous riches upon the one who gives himself to him. Vasuratna Dayamano Vidashushe. He distributes his luminous Vasu Ratnani, Vasuni Ratnani cha. These are the Vedic plural neuter. They drop ni, Vasuni Ratnani. Dayamanach, distributing V all over, in all directions, Dashushe, for the Dashus. Dashus is the one who gives oneself, who surrenders, who makes the offering. Sri Aurobindo says, on the offerer of the sacrifice, Dashushe. It's a typical Vedic word. We find it throughout the hymns. In every hymn there will be one Dashus. And then, Vaishvanarach, Pratnatha Nakam Aruhat, Divach Prishtham Bandhamanach, Sumanmabhih Sa Purvavat Janayat, Jantavedhanam, Samanam Ajmam Parieti Jagravih. Universal Godhead, as in the ancient days, Pratnatha is the word. Pratnatha, as in the ancient days. I think I put it here. Or it can be translated also from the beginning of time, as usual, as always. Yes, I'm putting it here. So universal Godhead, as in the ancient days, has ascended, Aruhat, glad and high, and glad by high thoughts to the firmament. Suman mabhih, this is by the heart, by the high thoughts to the firmament. Divach prishtham, to the back of heaven. Literally, prishtham is the back, divach of heaven prishtham. To the back of the heaven, he aruhat, ascended to the heaven nakam. Nakam is heaven, back of heaven, twice heaven, but different words. Divach, div is one heaven, and nakam is another heaven. They are synonyms, but they have different connotations also. I think nakam is something beyond divach. It is like on the top of divach, then there is nakam there behind. At least I get this sense from the Rig Veda. So Vaishvanarach, the universal Godhead, as from old times, Pratnatha, nakam, to the heaven Aruhat, rose or ascended. Divach Prishtham, to the top of heaven. Bandhamanach. Sri Aurobindo is not translating this word. Bandhamanach is the one who is praised or welcomed. You can see here band, and to be greeted with praise, receive applause. It's a typical Vedic word. You will not find it in classical Sanskrit. Also to be or make glad, to shine, to honor, or even to worship. So we can say worshipped, or how to say, the one who produces happy exclamations from others, so to say. Suman mabhih, with perfect thoughts. So let me read the whole thing. Universal Godhead, as in the ancient days, has ascended glad by high thoughts to the firmament. To the back of the heaven, even as of old he creates the reaches, for the creature born. Purvavat janayat jantavedhanam, this is the line. Wakeful he travels ever over the same field of movement. Samanam ajmam pari eti jagraivich. I am translating literally. The universal Godhead Vaishvanara ascended Aruhat to heaven Nakam from the beginning of time, Pratnatha, or as usual, as always. Praised by high thoughts, Bandhamanach, Sumanmabhich, or by supramental powers. We spoke about this. Sumati, Sumna, Sumanma. These are the words used for the perfect mentality. So with perfect mentality, or by high thoughts, capital T, on the top of heaven, or on the back of heaven, on the other back, higher end of heaven, the Vachprishtam. As before, generating wealth, again, Purvavat, as before, generating wealth, Janaya Dhanam, for the beings born, Jantave, in the physical body. It's Jantu, the being who is born here in the physical body. The same Janma, the same Jana. Jana is the, usually we translate as people, but those who acquired physical body in their birth. Awake, he moves around the same passage. Same passage, Samanam Ajmam. It's from root Aj, to move forward. It's like a passage or way. In the same way, he moves round and round, constantly wakeful or awake. He never falls asleep. He moves the same passage. Ajma can also be translated as the battle. The same battle he goes into, wakeful. Yeah? So he has much to transform there, and the battle is the transformation. Okay, we move forward. Number 13. Ritavanam yajniyam vipram uktiyam ayam dadhe matarishva divikshayam tam chitrayamam harikesham imahe suditim agnim suvitayana vyase. The sacrificial fire whose home is in heaven and who possesses the truth, the illumined seer with his utterance of the word, whom life that grows here in the mother has set, him with his diverse journeying, his tawny hair of flame we desire, the deep thinking fire for a new and happy movement. We seek him, imahe, tam imahe, we seek him, who is possessed of the truth, ritavanam, or who is possessor of the truth, either or. Worthy of sacrifice, yajniyam, ecstatic, vipram, from root weep, to tremble in ecstasy, and worthy of expression, wanted to be spoken of, uktiyam, who deserves the hymnal praise. Ayam, for whom the Lord of Life, Matarishva, growing in the mother, literally, established Dadhe, a dwelling place, Kshayam, when he was in heaven, Divi Kshayam, or established the dwelling place in heaven, without when he was. I'm just adding because Sri Aurobindo translates this way. But truly speaking, literally there is not when he was. In heaven established the dwelling place for him. Him we desire, imahetam, whose path is luminous and conscious. Chitra yamam, yama is path, chitra I just spoke about Chitra, luminous and conscious. I put 2 words for Chitra. Whose flaming hair is of gold, Harikeshan, Agni, Agnim, Suditim, perfect in luminous thought. Suditi, interesting because Diti is shining, perfectly shining, but from root D or Da, the Shobindra translated the deep thinking fire. Interesting. Hmm? Suditi. Who casts the luminous, kind of, not shadow, but who emanates the light. The perfect in luminous thought for perfect and new journey. Suvitaya Navyase, for the Navyase new. Suvita is the Vedic word which means perfect moving forward. It's from root I with prefix su. V is in between appearing. Suitaya, dative case. For Suvita, for the perfect moving forward. Navyase, dative case, Navyas new. Shuchim Nayamam, Ishiram, Suardresham, Ketum Divo, Rochanastham, Usharbudham, Agnim, Murdhanam, Divo, Apratish, Kutam. Tam Imahe, Namasa, Vajanam Brihat. Pure bright, Shuchim, rapid of impulsion in his journeying, Yaman Ishiram, Ish is to desire, impulse, Shobindra translates. Ishiram, how to say, rapid of impulsion in his Yaman. Yaman is here a Vedic locative. In his moving, he is impulsive. Yeah? Fire that looks upon the sun world, Swardrisham, whose drish look is on Svar world. Heaven's ray of intuition, Ketum Divach, standing in the luminous plains, Rochanastham, waking in the dawn, Ushar Buddham. Usha is the dawn, Buddha waking in the dawn. Fire Agnim, head of heaven, Murdhanam Divach, whom no darkness can cover, Apratish Kutam. Him we desire, Tam Imahe, with obeisance of surrender, Namasa, the fire of the plenitudes, Vajanam, who is the vast, Brihat. The pure moving on the path, whose look is fixed upon Svar world, the ray of heaven staying in Svar world, awakening with the dawn. Agni, who is on the top of heaven, unstoppable, it is him we seek with surrender, the one of plenitude supreme. And the last verse, Mandram hotaram shuchim advayavinam damunasam uktiyam vishvacharshanim rathamna chitram vapushaya darshatam manurhitam sadam it raya imahe. The pure and rapturous priest of the call in whom is no duality, the dweller in the house, the speaker of the word, the all-seeing, the visioned fire set in the thinking human being who is like a many-hued chariot in his embodiment. Him ever we desire, and he is righteous. All right, if you have any questions or want to share your thoughts, your notes from this reading, take your time, gather your thoughts, if they are gatherable. Usually when this tejas appears Udana, it dissolves all the thoughts, there are no thoughts. Then you speak simply. Speak and thoughts will come. I cannot speak only myself. 35 minutes I'm speaking non-stop. After this hymn you cannot say anything wrong, so don't worry. Just say whatever comes, so it will be right. You already illumined your consciousness, it's already there. You will be surprised what may come out of your mouth. Yes, Kitch.
I have been trying to equate Agni to love and to the force of impulsion, which has been mentioned so many times, and movement. So it's a very complex picture to equate something that is fire and burns with love that is something to be desired and 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 attracts. Can you help out with that?
What are your thoughts on it? You have some thoughts. Can you share your thoughts? Of course I can open my mouth and it will come, something will come. But share your thoughts.
My thoughts for quite some time have been very different and strange. I have been equating Agni to hunger and emptiness, something that is at the borderline between being and non-being, something that joins us to a very essential truth in ourselves, which is the source of all existence, but it is inexpressible. So we call it non-being. It's
Right.
a very complex set of thinking that I've been going through.
But non-being is only for the mind, which is kind of operating by things which are proximately,
Existing.
yes.
Yes.
Proximately existing means in time and space constantly changing. So for the mind, that is non-being, because can there be being which is beyond the change? So that becomes non-beings immediately for the conscious. But what you said when you were speaking, I got a very interesting glimpse. Why the fire burns? You spoke about love. We will come to love. Why it burns? Do you have some thoughts? Fire burns, they say. And it burns.
It any burning is a change, is a movement.
I thought the same. And change in what? In that being which is not final, yeah? Not the immortal, not the fundamental, not the one which endures change. Everything which is to be changed is burning from
Changes.
the fire. Yeah, burning.
That is,
Yeah,
everything which has to be changed will change.
right.
And that which is unchangeable and eternal will not be burnt.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There was a very interesting Russian mystic from the beginning of 20th century. He was traveling in Tibet and Himalayas, and he was looking for Shambhala. His name was Rurik. Maybe some of you know Rurik. Nikolai
The
Rurik.
painter? The
The
painter?
painter. The painter.
Okay.
He painted many Himalayas, and they are all in New York, actually. And there is also Sviatoslav Rurik, who lived in Bangalore for many years, his son. And he created what is called Agni Yoga, which is very appropriate to our question. And in his Agni Yoga, he speaks in this way. He collected all these stories from Himalayas about Agni and the sun. And he says we have to accumulate so much fire within ourselves. Then when the sun world comes down, and it's interesting, it's intuition of the supramental manifestation. When the sun will reach towards us, then we will have enough heat and flame and consciousness that the sun will not burn us. It's a very mystical view, which makes sense. Yeah? So we are burned because there is so much to burn still. But once there is so much flame in us that there is nothing else to burn, then here we are transformed.
And I was also thinking that some phrase that you said the other day, we can only move from completeness to completeness. There is there is there is a completeness already, and it moves to another completeness.
Only the
So
movement makes it a little incomplete. Right? The
yes,
bridge between two completenesses. Well, it is still complete from the complete point of view, yes. But from the moving point of view, it feels like incomplete. Yeah, it's a puzzle of creation. And about love, what you said, it's very true. Agni is worshipped by rishis in two different forms. One is Priya, beloved, another is Yajatra, worthy of sacrifice. He is worthy of sacrifice. He is worthy of that, giving to him everything we have and we are to him. Yes? Worthy of that surrender to him all our being and all our existence, and at the same time he is beloved. There are two major formations of Agni, and the rishis are mentioning them. We spoke about this extensively, about two cults of Bharigo and Angiras rishis, of ancient rishis and modern ones, about ancient gods and modern gods, about Soma yagas and so on. And this one of them, this new flame which was discovered in the heart, the flame in the heart is the beloved one, the one who generates this devotion towards the divine. That flame which is in nature is actually the power which pushes forward the whole evolution of nature. Yeah? But this flame in the heart is rather the loving one. It's like a psychic flame, the soul. So these two flames, one is in the heart and the other is in our Kundalini, so to say, Shakti, in our Muladhara center. It is the sexual center which is pushing nature to procreate, to create new species, to evolve, constantly pushing that eros, so to say, power. It is flame. And it is also from here we have this sexual desire. It is Agni, yes, in that form, which is pushing nature forward. But there is another flame in the heart, which is discovered by Vedic rishis as Priya or Idya, sought with adoration and love. There are two words used, Priya and Idya, for the beloved flame. And when they say this, they mean the flame in the heart, not in nature. In nature it is painful. It's constantly the effort to for betterment, to improve things, By the means of nature, you improve the means of nature. So that's what we do, yes? We practice. We train our bodies, and by training our bodies, we acquire new qualities. Yeah? If you want to be a musician, you play 6 hours a day from your childhood, and then you become a musician. So you sacrifice by the effort of nature to arrive at new quality of nature. This is the flame in nature. But the flame in the heart, totally different. It loves the divine. It opens to the divine spontaneously. It is not the effort. There is no effort there. There is surrender. And between these two, the effort and surrender, between tapasya is that effort. That's what, if you want to be a musician, you have to do tapasya. Every time you have to make a concentrated effort by consciousness. Make yourself work. It is just the opposite in the heart. There is no tapasya. There is surrender, love for the divine. And by love you achieve everything.
Also, Vladimir, I have been meaning to ask you the definition of love. For example, Mother mentions once or twice about the snake eating the frog or the tiger eating the goat. And if I have understood correctly, she says the frog wants to be eaten as much as the snake wants to eat the frog. It almost like approaches the snake to be eaten. Same for the goat with the tiger. And somewhere if I remember correctly, she says there is a feeling of intense love at that point of time between both.
Yes.
And
This love is something we have to also understand what she wants to say. It's in application to nature. In the Light and Delight, actually the best book for this, if you want to read, it is by Amal Kiran. He asked the mother about this, what is love? And she says that love is the force which pushes you to get out of yourself. So to say, if love would not be there, every creature born in this world would be perfect. Every self is actually a perfect creation, a prototype of the Supreme in a way, and would live in itself and by themselves, only for itself, and nothing would happen ever. There would be no creation because there is no interaction. But the love is the force which was sent to push everyone to get out from its, comfortable self.
from its completeness.
Yes, and that is the frog and the snake and all that. We are all pushed out to interact. Either it's all love, yes. Of course, it turns into to be hate because our consciousness is narrow, our knowledge is not there. So hate is another form of love, which means the lack of consciousness, the lack of light, and that's why we hate. We hate someone. I hate you. That means I love you. I want to be with you, but I don't know how. Otherwise, why should I hate you? I have nothing better to do than to hate you, spend so much energy in this. So if I were without love, I would be in myself. I would be indifferent to whatever you are. Why should I be touched by you, by your behavior, by what you said, but how you look at me, what you mean to say, why we are so disturbed by each other? Because there is this force of love. And since we are narrow in our consciousness, we behave strangely. The wars are coming. If someone wants to conquer somebody else, claims his way, that they are wrong and these are right, and so on, it's all that force of love. Otherwise the world would never come into existence. This was the mother's answer to Amal Kiran. What is love? It makes total sense.
It makes a lot of sense, yes.
This is the flame. Loving the divine in everyone. We are looking for the divine in everyone. We just don't know that. On the surface it's not. It looks different. But inside, we know what we are looking for. We are looking for that perfect union, perfect relationship as in the divine. And every time we are disappointed in our mind, in our feelings, that it doesn't match, it doesn't really reach its perfection, we are disappointed with ourselves, with others constantly. Notice, the same with ourselves. We are disappointed even more with ourselves than with others. Well, not all of us. Some psychopaths and sociopaths are disappointed only with others. But that is a narrowing choice. Maybe inside themselves they believe that they should never say that they're disappointed with them. But both are equal in a way. Disappointed with others and oneself is actually nearly the same, from the point of view of this love. Our egoistic and altruistic behavior is nearly the same. It's that lack of finding oneself. And you remember in the Isha Upanishad, the one who sees oneself in all the selves, and all the selves in oneself, he is never bewildered. He is never trying to hide. He is never shrinking from the world. He is in oneself now, with all the selves. You have some other thoughts on the hymn?
Yes, Vladimir, I have a thought. I almost don't. Oops. I almost don't want to disturb your trend of thought right now, but going back to what you were saying earlier about fire, Nisargadatta Maharaj said that mind comes out of the body like fire out of wood. And I was thinking about the transformation going from the different worlds, like from the physical world to the mental world, and the progression of consciousness that evolves through the different levels. That fire is the means by which, or the method by which, we transform from one stage to the other. And that was one thought I had. I'm speaking. You said open your mouth, so I'm opening my mouth.
Very nice. Always do that.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting was that the absolute is, as it said in the verses, that it wants to bestow on us riches and ecstasy, and riches being states of consciousness, blessings, and so on, as that's how I understand it. And so that's, I haven't, let me think here a minute. Anybody else want to go ahead, jump in, please?
Bestow on us, when you say the riches, so that means we have the riches, it's our riches from within. They have to come to our surface consciousness where we seemingly do not have them. Yeah? In that transition from the completeness to completeness, we have to fill it with completeness. And that is the riches bestowed upon us.
Vladimir, and some thoughts coming up again, like no, when Robin said that the riches, when any state gets transformed into another, it's like something. We are all food in one way if you look at it. when one is eaten by another, or like whatever the state is transforming into another state, there is always something which comes off, that energy that is given out. Could that also be the riches? Water which is boiling is shifting into another form, and that form shifts. If you look at it as a metaphor, like fire itself, like I know.
Yes, yes, absolutely. This is something which is quite interesting because when you spoke about this, it came to me. I just posted recently the passage from Savitri. What we think in our surface being that we, if we are eaten, but Kinshuk mentioned that the frog wants to be eaten the same way as the snake wants to eat. They want to interact with love. This is love, yeah? On the deepest sense. On the surface, it is just one is merging into the other, gives itself, sacrifices itself. For the sake of snake to live, frog has to give its body. There is a beauty in it. Yeah? There is a high divine beauty in this self-sacrifice. There is nothing wrong about it. Yeah? Because if we understand one passage that Sri Aurobindo says in the Godheads of the Little Mind, our being must move eternally through time. Death helps us not. Vain is the hope to seize. We cannot seize. So now, from the secret will compels us to endure. Our life's repose is in the infinite. It cannot end. Its end is life supreme. Now, sooner or later, you will have to give yourself to this movement, to this flame. So, why not, when your time has come, yes, to accept it and to give yourself to this moving forward? There is no way that death can stop us from moving forward. Death helps us not. We cannot cease from this movement. So if death helps us not, so what is frog to be afraid of? There is no way. If it would be very nice if there would be death and if we will cease to be. It is such an easy way out. But unfortunately, it's not the thing. We will have to go on. So it also tells me something very interesting, that instead of kind of accepting failure, accepting, that, okay, I failed, let me rest finally, this is not going to happen. So instead of resting, better not resting, better really acquire every day new consciousness, new capacities, go on till the end, and when the time is right, give oneself freely and happily to this, evolution of consciousness. That's what it tells me. Death is a passage, not the goal of our walk. Some ancient deep impulsion labors on. Our souls are dragged as with a hidden leash, carried from birth to birth, from world to world. Our acts prolong after the body's fall, the old perpetual journey without pause. No pause, sorry. There is no even rest in between. And hence, so this was a magic stream that reached no sea. There is no reaching to some sea finally where you can dissolve and stop moving. So here we are, knowing the truth of our existence. It is totally applicable to the flame. What flame is doing for us. It is this force which pushes us forward. We cannot stop. There is no way to stop. There is no way to rest. No way to disappear. No failure is accepted. Whatever failure is no failure. It's just a step on the way, on the path forward. So these are good news, and also for some of us, not very good news. We hoped for some release from all the tension, and no release. Sri Aurobindo is very humorous, but he hits the nerve. He gives us the vision. Some other thoughts, Jayashri? Yeah? Jayashri is very serious, not saying anything.
No, I was just listening. And it's so profound,
Yeah.
everything that everybody said.
But Vladimir, there is always the Dravinoda, right? The treasure that does not perish in time, whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to find it. Yeah. He begs for this Dravina. He wants this Dravina. Agni himself is wanting it, because Dravina is something which is like transformed being in time, which can embody fire, flame, truth, force of the divine every moment in time, the dynamic truth. The very dynamic truth is the concept of this, the truth in every moment of time, which disappeared later in post-Vedic literature. There is no difference between Ritam and Satyam. They are translated as truth, but not in the Veda. In the Veda it is the dynamic truth, truth of becoming and truth of being. Satyam, truth of being from Rupas, and Ritam is the truth of becoming. Both are there. That transition from complete to complete, which he mentioned, has to be also charged with the truth. And it is. If we look deeper, we will find it is there always. Otherwise, we would not be able to proceed. There's no way to move from one place to another, from one completeness to another, if there is no completeness in between. All right. But it is dynamically revealed in time. All right. If there are no more thoughts, Selby, some thoughts from Christianity or something? No?
Too many. Too many. I have to figure out a vessel to hold them all. I have a long list here of phrases from Sri Aurobindo's translation that I can find you those exact phrases in the Bible. And I'm just more and more convinced that the Veda is the foundation of the biblical story. And I don't feel like I know enough to really articulate it well. I think I'm going to go back to these study things in the knowledge bank and watch them all. Because I mean, I'm sitting here, it's so profound to me that I'm beyond words, really. But all I can do is just like make a note, look at that, look at this, look at this, look at this. It's stunning to me, stunning how much the same story is there.
Yeah, I agree that your intuition is right, actually. There was pre-Chaldean and pre-Vedic one tradition, and the Veda, Rig Veda, is the latest, the last outcome of that tradition. And fire, the flame, is the Son of God, who is here to manifest the Father. He is here to bring the Father into manifestation, but only through the flame, through that flame in the heart, through so to say. Through me only you can come to my Father, says Jesus. Yeah? So that is the who lives in everybody's heart. It is that spark of the divine, representative of the Father in the individual frame. It is through him that we have to arrive at full realization and manifestation of heaven on earth. These are the terms which are used in the Bible, and the only Son of God is another formula, yes, because the soul is the only Son. The
Well,
rest is the material.
and in the letters of John, he talks about how we're all to become that, to be the children of God.
This the Gospel of John is the most profound and luminous, actually.
And the letters of John also, and John was the beloved apostle, and that's probably because he understood the message the best.
There are many uncanonized, if you read them, also Gospels. From Eve, from those which were never canonized because they speak too cryptic, too mystical language, which is closer to the Veda than anybody else. They canonized only those which were farthest away, hiding the truth. But those uncanonized, incredible. If you read the Gospel from Eve, you will be shocked. It's just pure Veda. Anyhow, it would be nice if you could connect with Robin. Robin has an idea how to bring this, spiritual light into Christianity and review the whole doctrine from the spiritual point of view. Find those spiritual elements and highlight them, and help people who believe in Christ in this way, that they will change their views, become less dogmatic and more spiritual. So if you connect with Robin and discuss this, I thought about you two combining, working together for this, for Christianity and spirituality.
That would be very nice. I would appreciate that very much.
Right. Lovely.
Because, I don't see any difference between true Christianity and yoga. To me, they're the same, different ways of describing the same process that we go through. And the goal is the same. So, that'd be very nice. I think you know a lot more about the Bible than I do.
And if you review Augustine, you have to review Augustine, because Augustine was the founder of the whole church. But that pre-Christian Augustine, you will see that he comes from that tradition, this Vedic tradition, pre-Chaldean, pre-Vedic, and meditations and letters, and it's an incredible treasure, much more than any of the Gospels. You will be surprised.
Are you talking about the Confessions, Augustine?
Confessions and all his works, meditations. Yes, read some of them. You will be surprised how he describes meditation and what it means. It's a Indian tradition. You would not disagree. Every word, every practice. I was surprised when I studied Augustine. He is so close to Indian tradition. It's for you for your project, Christianity and spirituality. So Augustine could be a very good entry also. So you will find many passages which you need to highlight your thoughts.
I'll do that.
So we can stop here for today. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I will close the lunch. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.